Welcome, everyone, to this exciting interview segment. Today, we have the pleasure of sitting down with the actor Christian Sloan, star of the Lifetime movie Yoga Teacher Killer, the Kaitlin Armstrong Story. Christian takes on the role of Tom. Join us as we delve into Christian's insights into his character and the challenges of filming this movie. Thank you for being here, Christian.
Thank you very much for having me.
And let's begin. Can you tell us a little bit about your character in Yoga Teacher Killer, the Kaitlin Armstrong story?
For sure. So for those unfamiliar with the story, it follows a rip from the headlines story of Kaitlin Armstrong, real life story, who murdered her boyfriend's lover and then fled to Costa Rica and was eventually apprehended. I play Tom. Tom runs the yoga retreats where she ran off to in Costa Rica. Tom is a bit of an amalgamation. I don't know how much the legality of it is in there or not. Tom was sort of created a little bit, while based on a real person, created whole cloth a little by Katie Boland, who's the director and the writer. She's phenomenal. She's amazing. She was incredible on set. And she had a really firm hand on the story and really had a voice and a flavor and understood where she wanted to go with the story. So when Kaitlin Armstrong flees to Costa Rica, she spends quite a bit of time down there. Again, I don't want to give away too much just because the story's crazy. It's hard to believe it's real life. But she spent some time in Costa Rica and has several interactions with Tom. Tom's actually based on a real person, and it's the Don Juan Lodge down in Costa Rica. But as I say, very much he's more of an impression or an idea of the culture down there and that sort of yoga and surf lodge place.
Oh, great. What initially attracted you to your role in the movie?
I was very excited to audition for it. Number one, I've been a big admirer of Katie Boland. She's, I originally started out as an actress, and she's really forging her path. And she worked a lot with Lifetime. She has a really strong voice, and for her to be writing and directing, it's always fun to be on a project that's so close to somebody's heart. In the breakdown for the character, they were looking for sort of almost a Coen Brothers energy. And for me, that was very exciting because so much of what we do right now, there's trends in acting, and right now everything's very grounded and natural. And Tom was a bit of a bigger than life character. The type of people that gravitate down to Costa Rica and want to live that sort of bohemian lifestyle and get away from it all generally tend to be, some oddballs and outcasts. And Tom certainly is that. He's definitely enjoying his time down in Costa Rica and is, let's say, woefully unprepared for what comes his way.
And what do you think makes this movie so special and captivating?
I think really it's fascinating the lengths that we will go to for our perceived conception of love. I think it really delves into sort of the darkness in all of our hearts when talking about love and being jilted. And I think it also speaks a lot to our current culture with social media, with our availability to be found anywhere in the world. One of the interesting stories is from this movie is there's something called Strava, and it's basically an app where you can follow people around and see where their bikes trips are. People share their locations all the time, and that's how Kaitlin found Mo. Is she watched the Strava and saw that Mo, her boyfriend's lover, and they were at the same place at the same time, and that's eventually how she found the place and went and murdered Mo, right? So I don't know. I definitely think it's sort of it's fascinating that it's kind of this meditation on where we're at now. We're always connected, and I just think it's a fascinating story how destructive there's also like Kaitlin Armstrong in the film is very much obsessed with social media, very obsessed with appearance, very obsessed with how things look and how she occurs. She's selling the dream on social media and living a very different life, right? And it's almost like this clash of these two ideals that sort of drives her loopy. And I think we can all relate to that. What I present on social media and what my day-to-day life is with an 8-year-old and my wife and stuff are two very different things, right? So
Yeah.
I think we're all sort of guilty of that. And I think this story plays out in a beautiful way, maybe not beautiful way, but in a way that shows us what some of the dangers of this social media is and where we can end up.
Yeah. And what do you hope audiences take away from watching the movie?
Above all, I do hope that they're entertained. I think the film is a very entertaining film. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. But I also want, people to I don't know. I just do think that if we could start to move away from our phones and start to live a more authentic life. I'm old enough to remember a time before all this. And believe me, technology is beautiful. It's an amazing thing. It can connect us. I can see friends I haven't seen in a long time. I can see their faces. My son can talk to his grandparents easily. All these things are beautiful. But I also catch myself scrolling and comparing myself to other people and doing the doom scroll and stuff like that. And, I would love for people to walk away from this and think about sort of that end result. Where are we going with this? What agony are we inviting into our lives? And wouldn't it be better if we put the phone down and just live presently with the people that we love in our lives,
Yeah. And what was it like working with the rest of the cast on set?
Oh, it was a blast. It was so much fun. Katie Lotz is phenomenal. She's so great, and she was such a giving actress to work with. We got to have a lot of fun. Like I say, Tom's a little bit of an oddball and a little bit of a wild man. And I got to have a lot of fun with Katie. Katie, the director, really gave me sort of free reign. So I was kind of throwing a few curveballs and making some different choices and going a little wild. And to her credit, Katie was excited about it, was down for it, was open and playing. And so predominantly most of my scenes are with Katie, who plays Kaitlin Armstrong. And I think we just had a lot of fun. It was fascinating too, because here's a fun little tidbit. It's when we're shooting these movies, it's rare when you get to go to location. So we were shooting in Costa Rica, but in reality, we were actually in a barn, very well dressed, but nevertheless the barn in Langley, which is here in Vancouver. At one point when we were gearing up to shoot the first scene, they were like, okay, hold on. We got to turn on the heaters because we can see your breath. Needless to say, we wouldn't be able to see our breath in the real Costa Rica. But the atmosphere was super fun. And I got to be loose. I was listening to reggae music and ska music to sort of put myself in that headset. Yeah, everybody was having a blast on set. It was great.
Great. And what can you tease about your character journey?
I'm trying to think. I'm predominantly in the third act of the film. So towards the end, and I don't want to give away too much, but I do think I could say that Tom thinks that a windfall has dropped in his lap, and he is woefully unprepared for what comes.
Okay. And if you can say, if it's not spoiler, what was your favorite scene or moment while filming the movie?
There's a couple that are fun. There's again, I feel like not getting too much into spoiler territory as anyone can read this story online. But there's an apprehension scene, which we had a lot of fun with. But I would definitely say my entrance into the movie is sort of my favorite scene. At one point, they just let the cameras roll, and Katie and I were kind of just riffing and just playing, and it was definitely the most fun to shoot for sure. It's just I have a very fun introduction, and so we got to horse around a little bit with that and have some fun with it for sure.
Great. And change of a subject. What have been some of the most memorable projects you have worked on throughout your career, and why for you?
I've been very fortunate in my career to get to be a part of a wide swath of things. I get to be very much a character actor and play different fun characters. I was on. I would say one of my highlights for sure was Twilight. I was in Twilight Breaking Dawn. I got killed by Robert Pattinson. I was the envy of a million girls. He bit me right here. So now I can say I've been bit by the Batman. So that's great. I've had a lot of fun turns on things like Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. It's on Netflix. I got to play Lord Triangle Bad Evil. And that was a fun part. I literally got to mustache twirl and be a very bad guy and had a great look. My hair was platinum blonde, and I had face tattoos and things like that. I would say for myself, I love anything where I get to be outside the box a little more and get to experiment and play and have fun. Yeah, those are kind of my favorite parts. Whenever I did a show called C with Jason Momoa, we shot 7 episodes with him, and I was in crazy prosthetics. I was in the chair for about 4 or 5 hours every morning. So I'd have to be up at 2 in the morning to have my prosthetics all done by 7 in the morning. And then we would shoot from 7 to 7. So I was working 17, 18-hour days, but it was bliss. I loved it. Anything that kind of gets me outside the usual stuff. I love characters. I love getting to play and do wild things, So definitely I would say those are the parts I gravitate towards for sure.
Great. And so at Survivor shows, we are big fans of Christmas rom-coms.
Yeah.
What is your all-time favorite?
My all-time favorite, I would say my runner-up would be Just Friends, which is Ryan Reynolds and Amy Smart. It's just a fun, little bit raunchy kind of Christmas comedy, but it always elicits a laugh from me. And this might be kind of a twist on the rom-com, but my hands down favorite Christmas movie is Elf. And I consider it a rom-com because Zooey Deschanel and Will Ferrell are so much fun, and watching them together when she's singing in the shower, she's got such a beautiful voice, and I don't know, there was a sweetness and an honesty. It's one that is on in our family home every Christmas. We literally will put on Elf, and then we put up the Christmas tree. So yeah. That's when I know Christmas is here. My wife is a big fan of Christmas tree up on November 12th. So Christmas lasts about a month and a half in our house for sure.
Great. And the last question, can you tease us something about your next projects?
I'm under some pretty strict NDAs. I can't say too much about stuff, but I'm also a voice actor. So I just finished a season of a Lego or I just finished the season of a kids cartoon show, playing a villain. So I have that coming up. I'm going to camera on another show on Tuesday. What else? And there's a couple other things sort of in the hopper that are looking good. So, but again, everything is so everybody's so careful about stuff. So there's nothing too much I can talk about. We're gearing up for a busy summer here in Vancouver. It's gonna be go, go, go. So yeah.
Great. So this is it. Make sure to watch the movie Yoga Teacher Killer, the Kaitlin Armstrong Story on Saturday, 15th on Lifetime Channel.
I guarantee blast. It's a wild ride.
Thank you, Christian, to join us, and thank you all for watching. Bye.